Which window's making noise? That window needs to stop making noise. I really need my nose to stop itching, so I don't, yeah. Words. Hi, Internet. How are you? Should be coming up on YouTube. And that one needs to be muted. All right. All right, it's like we know what we're doing here. Sweet. Okay. The thing I need is this. I don't need R. Don't need that. Do need that. Too many windows. Let's finish going through the flags real quick. Oh, the other one is here. We go to P4s. And there's nothing really to talk about there. The salt frigates were kind of interesting. Not really. Alright, I bet you guys would like to see the last of the graphs I'm trying to put together. Main DT. That one. Even though I'm having a hell of a time trying to get my streams going. Maybe not that much. There we go. I am a professional. I know what I am doing. All right. And thankfully the green screen is making it so you guys can't see what a disheveled mess my office is. Because we're moving! Hooray! Oh, and I have to go and ping all the places. That's the last piece I forgot. That button. And that one. And Twitter, because we're insufferable. And we retweet that. Everything's coming out of the right accounts. We're up on all channels. Yeah. Oh, that would be the... It's probably skunked. There we go. All right, Internet. Let's see if we can get the pieces finished here. That needs to go away. Skype needs to just go away. Yes. And man, you know what the temptation is to go play a quick game of Rocket League, but I really should finish making sure all of the graphs are there. Because you guys come here for market stuff, not my terrible rocket carring. That's kind of interesting. Oh, I do want to look at... I want to look at that one. Implants. +4 and +5 have tracked down. Huh. Not exactly what I expected. Oh, that's interesting, actually. Let's put that in. That one? No. This one. Omen. Omen goes there. Let's see, what else do we have? The other one I want to look at is T3s. They are not as low as I would have expected. That's fine. Tactical destroyers. Not as bad as I expected. Okay. I should be coming through. I know Eve Mogul is talking about indexes. It's on my to-do. I've done a little bit of work on it. The problem is writing them is a little complicated. Writing them once is... I want to be able to run through them every week and have them mean something, and designing them and pulling them into R isn't... It's not that hard, it's just time consuming. I haven't had time because I'm trying to get moved. So it's on the to-do, and I'll be bugging Jeronica for numbers and math if he's got it. Because there's no reason why we couldn't report the same things. I'm just... The other thing is that I don't know how exactly to use indexes on this show. Oh god, mouth noises. That's really the wrong drink for this. So we already used 45 minutes. We already used 45 minutes of airtime to make the show. And I'm having a hard time coming up with a way to make, like, what would we give up to get those? Like, would we stop talking about fuel week to week to do indexes instead? Would be an option. I'm not totally against that, but I'm not totally for it either. I don't have logistics cruisers in a pile, which is dumb, because I totally should. No. So, and then the other thing is that I don't love indexes week to week. I mean, they're interesting. The way I see it is that watching the Dow Jones day to day tells you sort of the direction that things are going, but nobody trades directly on the Dow Jones index, right? Like, nobody... You'd be kind of foolish to base your portfolio on just what the Dow or the NASDAQ was doing. It's useful to sort of be a shorthand for the direction things are going and if you should be worried or, you know, should you log into your thing today. It's complicated and I don't love it, and it's unfortunately not at the top of my to-do list because I really should be rewriting the stat script. Like, that should be my next to-do list. That's interesting. Let's include that. So, I mean, yeah. And if I can get somebody to do the math for me, I can go make the R stuff pretty quick. That wouldn't be terribly difficult to do. Crystalline carbonite's tracking down. Oh, that loot table must have changed. Don't care. Worst part about moving is that it is destroying my allergies. So whoever hates my mouth noises is going to be really annoyed this week. Because, yeah, there's going to be a lot of them. That's a little interesting. That's the same story we've been saying for 2 weeks now. ANSI armor repairs. Do I have those tracking? Let me check if they actually flagged or if they're a boiling frog thing. Armor repair. So the 2.5 small ANSI repair was the only one that did it. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if that's really worth putting in the show. It's a weird product, and I don't know what's driving the actual trend line. That goes there. This comes over here so I don't make a huge pile of noise. Yeah, I don't see anything worth reporting recording there. And then let's just double check the +2s. Drake. Drake is worth talking about. Do I have a zoom in on Drake? That'd be really cool. Maybe it could be that less are getting produced or more are getting demanded. I haven't seen any particular move on the things. I haven't seen any news that would really drive it, is the thing. Let's see. This one? No, not that one. The other one. That one. Do I have Drake on there? Do I have Drake in the zoom in? Because who wouldn't have... I don't have Drake. How do I not have Drake? That's weird. Jaguar's kind of interesting, but I don't know if that's going to be sustained. Phenolic composites are already in the list. Let's add that here. Oh, the action's over on that. Shit. Why doesn't that look the same as that? That's weird. Sends are down, but that's to be expected. That would mean you could buy sends. It's a little bit high to be saying, but we can put that in. Nope. Nope. That one. Oh, and then we need to put in the jump freighter ones because I like watching jump freighters. Stasis Web 2s are way up. We should include those. Widows. Okay. Mute that for 2 hours. I think that's basically a show. Is there anything else I'm missing from the previous? Is Talos on my list? Survey says no. And did cloaks. Proto cloaks did. How hard? They're in Divergent. That is interesting. Oh no, it's -1.5. Prototype. Cloaking device. Down. What's the next one say? Improved cloaking device was in our -1.5, so it means it's down. Yeah, that's the other one. Huh. That's weird. Alright, let's get everything all geared up to actually do the show. That is not the right button. Come on, that one. That comes up here. We close that out. Stuff and things and stuff and stuff. Let me make sure I haven't forgotten anything in the last section of the show. Oh, that's right. We did a weird show last week. 2 weeks ago. 14 and 18, not a bad turnout. $52. We just have jump raiders in there. Okay. All right, guys. Show starts in about 5 minutes. We're going to, yeah. If this is the first time you're tuning in, thanks. I know that we got featured on the 07 show today, which was excellent. I wasn't sure if my submission was going to make it in on time. For not show things, I'm in the middle of trying to move. Got me a new job, and so the next couple of weeks are going to be interesting, let's say. The words and stuff and things. So, note that for the next 3 weeks, we may be missing 2 shows in the next 3 weeks. Not sure which ones. As things fall into place, I will update you guys as to where we're at. Yeah, I have to pack up all my crap and move a time zone over. We're probably going to keep the same time slot if I can. That will rely on the new job and how things go there. What else do you guys want to know? Words and things. Right. So if this is your first time tuning in, we do a about 45-minute market show. We talk about all of the news and trends that we see coming up through all of the content, and help give you guys a head start for weekend trading. I don't tend to answer questions during the show. We just try to get it done all in one big take so that I can edit it and put it up on YouTube, even though I know I have been slacking on that. We've been getting done at weird hours, and I haven't been able to get those done yet. But now that I am between jobs, I should be able to edit correctly this time. Then for 30 minutes afterwards, we'll do a Q&A session. Feel free to ask questions in either Twitch or YouTube. I do have both open and watching both of them. And of course, feel free to participate during the show. I just don't tend to answer questions during the thing. I know we've got in YouTube asking for my CSM recommendations, and I was going to put them in this week, but I wanted to wait until the official candidate list gets announced next week. Expect a tweet once that comes out. I'll have a whole panel and picture for you guys. I think I've figured out most of them. I still have a couple of pieces that need to fall into place. Yeah, I know the voting starts Monday. I might do a special episode. Just to try and get out there ahead of the thing. I know that we were going to do market makers with CSM guys, and my bad for dropping that ball. Just life is too busy. But be sure to tune into the CSM Watch. I know this weekend we are trying to get the last CSM Watch analysis show out the door. It's been a hard time getting people online for that. We're trying our very, very best to get that finished, and we'll have an official docket. We'll run it through the entire voting process. And yeah, I wanted to. We'll see how things go. Again, life is hectic, and it's a little bit hard for me to do the extra content, but I didn't want to. Even though everyone who is on my short list, it would be hard for them to not make it. It will. I'd rather not be caught with egg on my face as my excuse. Also, I've been out all week. Road trip up to Seattle so I could make sure I don't live in a box down by the river, and then road trip back basically killed my whole week this week. Was fun. Seattle's pretty. Gets dark early, but that might be because it gets dark late in Boise, and that's a weird expectation to have. Let's see. Other notes worth noting. FAQ. The plots are made with R, by and large, using QuantMod for the candlesticks, and for ggplot, just like CCP Quant does for the custom plots. The analysis is done with Python, which uses what's called pandas as a module. There's a whole bunch of statistics work that's done on under the hood. I want to rewrite it. It's really important that I rewrite it, and it's going to be probably important to my first topic at my new job. So getting some of those prototypes finished would probably be better if I got them done earlier than later. It's all going to rely on how quickly I can box up my entire life, because we have a lot of shit and I need to throw most of it away. Man, I have so much shit. I hate how much shit I have. And my wife is even more upset because she has like twice as much shit as me, and we're going to throw it all away. Moving sucks. I'm a lazy sack of shit. With that, we're at the top of the hour, so I should probably press the buttons so that we can present. That button. And then... Oh, and be sure to share the stream links with all of your buddies so they can tune in live as well, because we're the best market podcast on the 07 show. And if I could stop itching my nose, that would be so awesome. So that button, that button, that button. Good evening and welcome to another weekly episode of the Eve Prosper Market Show, where we analyze the market trends and talk about all of the news that's fit to print. We're going to start where we usually do, talking about some quick show news. If you guys hadn't seen, I want to thank CCP Guard and CCP Mimic for featuring our little mini piece on the 07 show. It was great to do a bit of a patch in review thing for you guys. Go ahead and check that out. The mini piece is on our YouTube channel. It's about 2 minutes long. I would love any feedback you guys have, because reading from a script is hard and I suck at it. So 2 cents is definitely appreciated. If you want to follow the show... If you want to follow the show, all you got to remember is Eve Prosper. That'll get you to Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and the blog. And I want to thank And if you want to support the show directly, the very best way to do so is through our Patreon at patreon.com/EveProsper, which keeps the lights on and all of our licenses paid and keeps this ad-free for everyone. So if you can support and you get value from the show, we'd really appreciate it. Otherwise, share the show with all of your friends and tune in every week at 0300 on Twitch and YouTube live. Just a note about the schedule. Due to me moving IRL to a new job, new state, new city, the posting schedule might get a little sporadic here in March. Be tuned to Twitter and Slack for updates on whether we're airing or not. We'll try to keep ahead of that. I expect to miss 2 weeks in March. I just don't know which 2 weeks. It'll all depend on if I have internet and how the move goes. So keep tuned there, and we will get moved. We will get resituated, and we will keep on trucking. We might also change the airtime, but that might also change around the time change here in the States. So it might just not have any impact whatsoever. With that, let's go ahead and move into the news. I actually have news, and I forgot to put it on the things because I suck. There we go. Quick pieces of news that came out ahead of the show. One, there was the 07 show this afternoon. Be sure to go tune into that. I don't know if it's on YouTube yet, but it should be in the next day or so. Big other pieces were Evelopedia is getting shut down, which is a little bit of a tragedy, but I do understand. Talking about low traffic through that resource, and a lot of redundancy between EveWiki, EveUni and Brave and all those other wikis across the internet. I would prefer to see it centralized under CCP, but documentation is a real bitch. So more than happy to. It'll be sad to see it go. And then last two pieces are Team Security put out a blog about overlays and account security and ISK buyer amnesty. So if you need to, there's always been the Plex for Snitches program, and if you need to clear your conscience, now's a great opportunity to do that ahead of FanFest. After the skill trading release, there are a bunch of suspicious flags, and I expect a lot of bans. And so if you are on the wrong side of the law or living in the gray space, I would take care of that sooner rather than later, because I would expect by the end of March or even sooner to see a huge wave of bannings, and so that they have something to show off at FanFest. So not that anybody who listens to this show would be doing anything illicit, just if you can wash your hands, now's a great time to do it. And last, the Eve API challenge, I believe, ends this week. I'm not participating because I'm too busy, and they said you couldn't do things that you already had. But it should be an interesting chance to win a EVE Online server cluster, decommissioned server cluster. Last, it's CSM season, and we're quickly approaching the final stretch. Voting opens next week, and I know that I said I was going to have our official ticket, but again, I am behind on my side. We're also behind on CSM Watch getting the last few analysis shows finished, but we are working hard to get schedules figured out so that we can get those last few interviews reviewed and get you guys everything you need to know ahead of CSM. It's really important that everybody goes and votes. I know that that the reach on this show is not immense, but you really should be voting. I have people I want to see on CSM and people I very much don't want to see on CSM, but we can't have the good people on unless everybody votes. So I will be publishing something as soon as voting opens. We might do a mini podcast to just sort of walk through some of the candidates we endorse, and that'll be. Make sure you guys go vote. Use the opportunity. It's going to be a weird CSM this year, and we want to fill that with the best people we can possibly get. Moving on to Plex. Plex continues to be weak and was dipping under the 120 line over the last week, which means it's a great chance to be buying. I still think it's a buyer's market here at the 120 line. And as soon as the sales complete, which should be either at the end of this week or by Monday or Tuesday next week, the prices should start climbing. I don't think they're going to shoot straight up. I think there's still a lot of volume in the market that needs to be absorbed. But if you need to buy, if you need to stock up, now is the very best chance to get into that market again. If we look at the 1 year view, it's interesting to see the giant volume spike we've been talking about for the last 2 weeks. Has started to die down back to the normal levels. Again, I think this is indicative of a cash crunch where people were liquidating stockpiles to just have liquid cash to go participate in the ISK trading market. ISK trading, Jesus Christ. So they could go participate in the skill trading market. And we should be seeing this level out in the next few days, and prices return back to normal as soon as the sale is completed. If we look at RMT tokens, again, we can see that skill extractors are trading just slightly above Plex, which is a great way to be bringing your money into the game. If you had wanted to use real-life money to go buy ISK, currently to go buy the RM package and turn it into extractors and sell those extractors is paying a pretty decent dividend on as far as a markup goes, and is still a better way to go than buying Plex directly, which is interesting. I expect this line to climb even a little higher once sales are completed, but due to the announcement that they are changing the RM packages to be a little more generous, basically halfway between where they were before the sale and where they are at the sale right now. Let me see if I've got the number handy. So instead of getting 40.50 RM per $20, you'll get 41.20 RM per $20. So I still expect skill extractors to be worth the extra money, and they should track up once the sale completes. I don't think they're going to track all the way up to the 900 RM parity line, but they should still be a decent buy at just over 800 RM. And moving on to the ISK per skill point valuation, again, I had been saying the last few weeks that I had expected it to get under this parity line, but the market continues to go the exact opposite direction of my forecasts. And right now we're tracking at about 700 ISK per skill point, which is a great valuation if you're a farmer. At this kind of valuation, we're talking about being able to profit 500 million ISK a month just by extracting 3 characters worth of skill points every month. And that's accounting for plexes and NPCTs and extractors. You're still coming out ahead 500 million, which again has me wondering why the heck the supply hasn't quite reached up to meet this one, because that's a pretty decent premium and is very nearly free ISK. Like if you didn't need the skill points anyway, that's essentially free ISK. And we keep seeing we're seeing the sell orders climb out of the 2,000 mark up into the 3,000 mark, but we haven't seen enough of this market to know exactly what normal needs to be. So it's a little bit hard to judge if this rise in open sell orders will actually start driving the price down. Again, it looks like we're in a decay pattern, just like we saw a couple of weeks ago, where we were coming from 675 down to 625. And as soon as extractors reevaluate, I expect this markup to come back down to about the 650 mark. But I don't know if we're actually going to cross this parity line next week or not. And again, this has me worried. If you want to know more about the specific reasons why I'm not particularly happy about this, go check out last week's episode where we had Noisy Gamer on to sort of do counterpoint with me about it. So we're going to keep an eye on this. I expect it to keep tracking down, but I also expect it to continue being positive for farmers who can earn 2,700 skill points per hour, who are basically maxed out. Moving on to zooming into the Plex market. Again, we can see that supplies are very high at the moment and prices are tracking just slightly down. Again, if you're tuned into the show live, it's a great chance to be buying in. You could probably get one just under 120 billion in JITA. The volumes are still up in the 2,500 units on the market level. I expect this to fall back down to the 1.5K mark as soon as the sale ends, but this might take a little bit of time to evaporate, because I mean, you're talking about a lot of ISK where it's 1.2 billion a unit, and there are an extra 1,000 units on the market to get rid of. It's a lot of money. So we got to see 1 trillion ISK wash through the system for the volumes to get back down again. And then I think this is in the wrong order, so sorry about that. If we look at the skill injectors, the prices are staying relatively stable, sliding down slightly to 625 million. Again, volumes tracking up to the 3,000 mark. Again, I think we're going to see the same pattern moving forward. We might see it bump back over 650 million once the sales end and the extractors get revaluated. So that's not a bad bet. But I still think that we're going to still see a decay pattern here over the next month. So there's chances to make money if you're keeping a close eye on it. And it's not a bad chance to buy in right now. But don't expect to be jumping in for the long term yet, because I still think that there needs to be more information before we really know what the steady state on this is for long-term investments. Moving on to minerals, we've got the expanded view again this week. I don't know if we're going to continue this. If you have feedback, go ahead and feel free to leave it in the comments. Starting with titanium, we're seeing it under 6.2 still, which is interesting. Again, the volumes are starting to track up. It's a great chance to be stockpiling if you need titanium. Again, we saw the supplies peak at over 30 billion units after the patch, and we're seeing that surplus start to evaporate. We're just over 6.2 right now as of airing. So I think we're going to be back up to the 6.3 level by the end of the weekend, maybe 5 days from now. So jump in on that if you need titanium. Again, it's a hard one to tell people to put a lot of money in, because it can be a great way to burn yourself if if you don't have great tax skills and are really on the ball with it. But as we go up above 6.3, I think we will, especially with all the mining skills that have been pulled out, I think that we're going to see some more positive pressure to get titanium back to 6.4 in the long term. Pyrite, we saw it dip down hard last week, down to 10.8, but it has already rebounded up over the 11 mark in the last few days. Again, the volumes are starting to recover here. It looks like people are jumping in on the trade and getting back into stockpiling since the liquidity crunch that we saw the last few weeks. And again, we're seeing that the volumes tracked way up over the 7.5 billion units mark, and we're slowly tracking back down to the 5 billion units mark, which, now that we're back at 11.1, I sort of expect us to be at steady state at this point. So if you didn't go ahead and jump into this particular thing, I think the action is over on pyrite. Mexilon is another interesting one. We saw it dip down pretty hard, again, with all of the sell-offs last week, but it has gone ahead and rebounded, and this graph does not actually show the entire picture, even though we're over the 60, like the 61, 62 mark. We are tracking way up over the 65 mark. Looks like somebody was buying out a lot of the surplus, and we're in a bit of a shortage at the moment. So if you have any Mexilon, now is a great chance to go sell it in the next 48 hours. By the end of the weekend, we might see a little bit of action as a chance to buy in with a target of 60. There might be some bounces to jump in on in the meantime, but I don't know if that's going to be sustained over the 60. I don't know if I can tell you guys to get on a target of 65 right now, because I don't know where all of this supply went. I sort of expect we need to see 500 million units come back to the market. Moving on to Isogen, we saw a big spike the last couple of weeks, and we've seen it track back down to 100. And again, this story is less a story of the liquidity crisis and more a story of extra supply thanks to Fozzie's change. Now, that 1 billion units thing looks like the steady state for Isogen, and then it looks like somebody did a big buyout to reset the prices, and we're down at about 0.75 billion units on the market, and the prices are tracking pretty steadily around the 103 mark. We're down right now, but I expect that to rebound by the end of the weekend. Sorry, guys. And moving on to Noxium, we saw it spike and then crash, and we're seeing it recover. I think that 470 is about the steady state price. Now is a decent chance to buy in if you think it's going to repeat this, but I think that's a bit of a risky thing to try and jump in for a 480 or 490 price. It's a little late to the party to be jumping in. I think 470 is where we're going to end up landing. Again, we can see where we did about the opposite that we did in the other minerals, where we're seeing more surplus. We're still seeing surplus come to market. So I expect 470 to be a pretty decent ceiling on this at the moment. Zydrene's the one I complain about week over week. I think Zydrene is grossly overvalued at the moment. We're seeing the dips as people cashed out, but the prices keep climbing. And again, we keep seeing where it looked like a surplus came to market and then was bought out, and then another surplus came to market, and we're still sitting under the 50 million units mark, which is troubling to see Zydrene in that short of supply. I have a hard time pinpointing exactly where this is going to go. It keeps going up, but we're running out of floor to head towards, so I'm not exactly sure what the deal is going to be here. Megasite, again, had been tracking up, and now we're actually tracking up with a little more heft. We're up above the 1,300 mark, tracking to 1,400. And again, we're seeing where there was a large surplus. It's now in a far more stable space down here at 50 million. I expect the prices to climb a little bit higher because I do expect, Megasite should be more valuable than Zydrene, but I don't know exactly how we're going to get there or when we're going to get there. So it's a little bit of a risky thing to be jumping onto. And more show darling Morphite is tracking even further down, heading towards 10K even. We're right now at 10.5K, and we keep tracking down. Again, we're seeing that volumes are extremely high at the moment, and it's a good chance to stock up if you are in the T2 market. I think the prices are going to turn around and head towards 10.8. But I don't know when, and we may need more patience to get there in the next couple of months, because it doesn't sound like Citadel is as near as I would like it to be. And then last, the look at all of the minerals together. Again, you can see the Megasite and Zydrene trends trending up. Pyrite and Tritanium coming back to their normal. Noxium just sort of bouncing around its 470 mark. There's I don't know what, I probably shouldn't have included this week because we did all the zoom-ins already. Moving on to fuel. Fuel is rather interesting this week. We see that nitrogen continues to lose ground, now at the 875 mark, bouncing back. And hydrogen isotopes are on a tear, but I expect that to be over very, very soon. I really should have included that in the zoom-in. The exact prices of everything seem to be trending upwards. Again, this is what I would expect as we head over the 750 mark. I don't know if we can make it all the way to 800 with the general stuff, but it's great to finally see nitrogen starting to lose a little bit of its steam. Fuel blocks are also a little interesting that they are tracking up with the isotopes tracking down, especially since the Galente fuel blocks seem to be so high at the moment. It would be a great chance to make a quick buck there. If we zoom in on nitrogen, we can see that supplies have gone from the anemic 100 million units on market to 150 million. I'd like to see it up to 200 million because this is about half what it should be. But we're seeing a pretty healthy supply on the market at the moment. And it looks like a little bit of that has been cannibalized out of buy orders because we've seen buy orders slump a little bit. And then the other darling has been strontium, where we saw a couple of announcements that have driven the price a little bit crazy. Again, these spikes are really hard to predict. There have been changes that make it go up and changes that make it go down. I still think that the 1.4K mark is the steady state I'll be aiming for personally. If you can make more than that, of course, go sell for more than that. But I don't think that we're going to track much higher than that in the long term. And now, finally, onto our outliers. We're going to start where we always do. In advanced materials, we can see that things are looking a little interesting. Ferrogel is tracking up. Hypersynaptic fibers are tracking up. A couple of the carbides are tracking up, which is, even though crystalline carbonate is tracking down. The interesting one I wanted to do an extra zoom in because it flagged was phenolic composites. Looks like there was a pretty steep buyout recently. I'm not sure who's stockpiling or what exactly is going on. It doesn't look like a strict shortage. We get a little bit low, but not to like buying out the entire market low. But supplies have been returning back to the 40 million unit mark, so I expect prices to track down. If you have phenolic composites, you should probably be selling them this weekend. Another interesting one on the radar this week is heavy interdictors have been tracking up. We see the broadsword and the devoter tracking up big time, even though the Phobos and the Onyx have been losing steam. Not sure exactly what's going on. Specifically, this might just be a brief shortage. This might just be somebody changing out their doctrine a little bit. I didn't see a lot of the other PvP ships really flagged this week, so I'm not exactly sure what's driving this behavior at the moment. And I expect prices to come back down in the next few days. Also, looking at interceptors. If I could stop having this thing in the back of my throat. Holy shit. All right, let's try that without coughing into your guys' ears, because that is not cool. Where was I? All right, moving on to interceptors. We see a few of them tracking up, specifically the Crow and the Raptor and the Claw. This looks like a bit of a buyout driving the thing. I'm not sure. It doesn't really look like there was a new campaign starting, so I don't know if this is really something we can bank on for the next few weeks. Prices are up where they're up, but the other interceptors are not following suit, so I don't think that this is indicative of a activity change. Next, with the Amar Navy, with the Imperial Crusade on such a tear through faction warfare, it is a great time to be buying up Amar faction warfare LP equipment. We're looking right now at the Oman Navy issue, which has gone from 90 million down to 70 million in the last few days, and it is a great chance to go be buying. Like, you should go jump in on that. The things like Imperial Navy enams and heat sinks and their data cores and all of that should all be way low over the next weekend, and it's a great chance to be buying in. Again, when it comes to faction warfare stuff, the prices will go up. I just don't know when, and I expect that this high will last for a couple of weeks, so buying in positions, you have time, but you're going to need some patience to cash out. So this isn't a short-term position, it's a more long-term position. It's more of a long-term position. Let me actually get some audio I can work with. Holy crap. Moving on to the Scimitar. Looks like it is becoming relatively popular. We've risen from 140 million up to 160 million in the last couple of weeks. Again, we're not seeing that the volumes are that much higher than before, so I think that people will be we may see producers crash this particular party over the weekend, but if you can get on Scimitars and sell them, now's a great chance to be selling them. I'd be watching for better chances to specifically buy in if you needed Scimitars. I'm not exactly sure when it's coming down. Another interesting one this week was the Capital Capacitor Control Circuit one, which had been relatively stable at 40 million a unit and has recently tanked to 35 million a unit. And we're seeing a lot more on the market. Looks like a response to some of the capital changes. I haven't seen any news specifically that would prompt me to want to jump off this ship. I don't know if the new capital modules have been announced or what specifically, but it looks like people are selling off their positions to get out of this market. So if you needed them, now's a great chance to stock up. But if you wanted to hold on to them for long term, it's a dangerous place to be jumping in on. The prices look to have bottomed out though, so it's a good chance to buy in. I just don't know if it will go up. Next, the lovely darling of every nullsec fleet, the Drake, has been seeing this weird spiky behavior the last few weeks. We saw it spike up to 60 million and then back down to the 55 million mark, and then we're back up to 58 million this week. And this is despite the fact that minerals are, by and large, kind of depressed. Like, we would expect to be just under this 54 mark, but we continue to be very high. So if you can sell Drakes and you've got some handy, volumes are pretty strong at the moment, and it would be a decent chance to sell out. But I'd want to be out of that position by Saturday or Sunday, and I wouldn't want to be jumping in for a longer term trend because I expect this to crash back down for buy orders in the 53 million neighborhood. And then another weird ship that flagged this week is the Sin, looking like the pattern I've told you guys about several times, where we see a shortage where the market peaks up and then producers crash the margin down again. Looks like we're tracking to a little over 900 million. If you needed a Sin, this weekend's probably a good chance to be buying in. I'd be targeting as close to 900 million as you can. We should see it turn around probably just north of that. And then we might see it track back towards the 950 mark over the next week or so. So I don't know if this is a great chance to be holding it for ISK making, but if you needed a Sin, now's a great chance to stock up. And then I believe this is the last one we've got this week is the Stasis Web 2. This, I believe, has more to do with the ECM changes and all of the meta going around the eWar module changes that were announced a couple of weeks ago. We're seeing it stay very high at 1.1 million. I think that's 1.1 million. And again, I am always surprised when a market like Stasis Webs or Damage Controls stays high, because I expect Tech2 producers to just jump in on that with both feet and run it back into the ground again. So we're not seeing volumes track up to support the price, so I expect us to come back down off this 1.1 million mark. Not sure how fast specifically. I would put buy order targets around 900K. We might fall a little bit below that, but I don't think much below that. And then last, our prediction review, where we go through previous weeks. I don't have a lot to talk about this week. We're just going to look at jump freighters like we have for the last few weeks. We are seeing that the Nomad is tracking up. Again, looks like a bit of a shortage, tracking up to 8 billion. I don't think that's going to be sustained. Again, I would not retool my jump freighter production to jump on Nomads just because they're high right now. It's interesting to see that the Rhea continues to be pretty weak due to its fuel costs, and the Anshar continues to be pretty strong at 7.5 billion. And the Ark is also relatively strong. Maybe people are going back to picking their favorite colored ship, because the Ark sure is pretty. But that's all I've got for reviews. I didn't see anything interesting worth reporting in geckos or quaffs, so we're not showing those this week. With that makes an Eve Prosper show. I've been your host, Lockefox, and I want to thank everybody who tuned in live this week. I want to also thank CCP for featuring our market brief on the 07 show today. If you want to tune into that, go stop by our YouTube channel. I've gone ahead and posted the version that I sent over. If you want to tune into the show, all you got to remember is Eve Prosper. That'll get you to Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and the blog. We're also on Slack. That's the very best place to get in touch with me. If you want to chat about market stuff, information on how to join will be in the channel info below. Come stop by the Prosper channel and let's talk shop. Lastly, if you want to support the show, the very best way to do so is through our Patreon. Our patrons keep us on the air, keep our bills paid, keep us developing, and keeps this ad-free for everybody who does watch. So stop by eveprosper.com. Stop by patreon.com/eveprosper. If you can support us, we would greatly appreciate it. If you want to tune in live, you can tune in. If you want to tune in live, you can tune in at YouTube and Twitch at 0300 on Fridays. That's Thursday night U.S. time. We're also on YouTube the next day. So stop by and watch the show. This is fucking awful. I know what I'm doing. I want to thank everybody who tuned in. We will be back next week with more market news and CSM news and more graphs. Again, I've been your host, Lockefox. This has been the Eve Prosper Show, and we will be back next week. And that's a show, even though I tried to, cough myself to death because of allergies. Ow. And I laid on my arm weird. Go me. I am a professional. And if one Muxa is still in the thing, Zenuria. Zenuria is the one person we don't want on the CSM. Not that he's showed up to an interview, and not that I've seen the official roster from Goonswarm, even though it's equal portions likely that they are trolling him and saying, "Oh yeah, no, you're on the top of our ticket. Yeah, Zenuria 2016." And then not actually endorse him and leave him hanging because that would be a funny joke. I don't know. It has been so hard to judge things this year that there are whole bunches of like, oh, it should happen this way, and it just goes the opposite direction. So I don't want to predict what's going to happen to Zenuria. Drifter Incursion payout. Drifter Incursions are back? Huh. Let's see. More questions. Yeah, I'd like to make sure we can get at least some sane people onto the thing. I think Goonswarm is going to try and shit up the pot as much as they can, but I don't know. You don't want to tune into the Republican debate. Those guys, it's just a fucking shit show. This is way more entertaining. What news will we get from another Republican debate? That Donald Trump says something weird and gets away with it again? That's news. I know it's Goonswarm's goal to really shit up the CSM, and they're going to do a lot of damage if they do. Has me deeply worried. Especially with Denebula, the new VP of Community from DICE. Her, according to the crystal ball, she would be not a fan of the CSM and turning it into a shit show right now, right after she takes over, would basically cancel the project. And I don't know if Scion and company really understand that. I mean, they're smart dudes, and I hope that they'd understand that, and that they're trying to trying to do that. I can't understand what the motivations are at Goonswarm headquarters anymore. I don't even try. I know Arth is probably going to make it on. I have to go through my list again, and I got to go see the official list. Like, we'll do the endorsements from here. We'll do the projection. I don't know if I'll be able to guess it as good as last year. I know they want a war, but I don't know if they're going to get it. Like, I think they're just going to get the sort of thing that they've been treated to, for the last, that they've been treating everyone else to, where we don't want to ruin the game, we want to ruin your game, and it sure seems like everyone is content to just let them burn themselves down. And as much shit as they stir on Reddit or anywhere else, I don't really believe that they're going to get the fight they want. And I mean, the SMA thing is actually pretty interesting. I wish I was more plugged in to figure out what was really going on. That they went on a slopes for the slope throne kind of thing, is interesting given that they tried to scam, what is it? I Want ISK. I'm not exactly sure on the details. That's really not my meta, unfortunately. I wish I had better things to say about it, but with SMA, sloping, and I think that CFC is still on target to cannibalize itself, so I don't know. They are smart dudes. I never want to say that the guys who run CFC are dumb. They're some of the smartest guys in the game, but their tactic to try and get the fight they want, I don't think is going to work, because I think they've burned a lot of their bridges and shown their hands enough that the best way to defeat them is to starve them. I don't know. I am a little worried for the next year. I won't lie. And it looks like our hiatus here is going to be relatively fortuitous. It looks like we're going to be stuck at in a bit of a doldrum for the next few weeks. So if we miss a couple of shows, I don't think much value will have been lost. Yep, we're following that person. Questions? Does anybody have questions here on the stream? We have another 20 minutes to fill, and I'd rather not rant about CFC political strategy, because, God, regular politics are pissing me off so much. If I have to hear one more show about why Trump is winning, I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't care. It's just exhausting. They pay in our Navy lost points. Huh. I'll have to look into that. Words and stuff and dudes and things. If there's no questions, I'm going to go play Rocket League. Going to turn this in from graph hour to terrible at Rocket Cars question. Just a small question. Is the market good enough to invest in Hyperion BPO? The Hyperion is high right now, and it's peaked a couple of times over the last few weeks, but the volume is extremely low, so it'd be really hard to get that money back. I don't like buying battleship BPOs. The bigger the BPO, the less I want to buy it. Now, capitals break that rule, but capitals also have the problem of research gets really expensive on them, so the equations change. It's probably not a bad idea to be looking at the BPC market. There should be a lot of good opportunities to get your hands on high quality BPCs for not a lot of money. But I would not buy a Hyperion Blueprint Original. If you can steal one, steal one. Like, if you can get them for free, never not free. But the market has been tempting. I understand how it's tempting from a producer's side. Like, it keeps popping up and being like, ooh, look at that percentage, that profit margin. Oh wait, it only sold 2 today, so I wouldn't jump on the Hyperion. Benjamin is asking if I think that injectors will still come down in the future, or are we going to see high Plex injector prices in the future? So I still think that the valuation for... Let me get a visual aid. I have visual aids. Haha. Oops, that's not the right button. That button. That button. So the story I expect is that I think that this line has to get under the Plex parity line. It makes Eve free to play otherwise, and it has me worried. I think that we'll get closer once the sales are done, that we'll get closer to the actual parity point. But I think the specific prices of injectors are going to trend up before they trend down, if that makes any sense. The specifics of this market, so I don't like doing forecasts with less than 60 days. It's hard to draw a compelling line without 60 days worth of data. I still think that the prices need to come down, but I think they're going to go up first before they come down. If that makes any sense to everybody. If I can not knock my mic. I'm looking forward to CCP Quant is supposed to be releasing a blog in the next week or so about the specifics of skill trading. So how many have been destroyed and which are the top skills getting pulled out and which are the top skills getting injected. So I'm looking forward to that report, because the preliminary stuff I've seen from him says that demand is just so much higher than I expected. And this particular valuation isn't the one true one. Like, you can cut this line up a few different ways where you're talking about comparing it against maybe +5s and maybe against... which bracket you're actually in, if it makes more sense, and that kind of thing. I think there's a lot of money to be made if you're being very attentive to the market. The particular swings that we're seeing up and down, I think are pretty decent in a way that you can say, oh, well, if I know what this ISK per skill point valuation is, when it dips below that number, I'll buy, and when it goes above that number, I'll sell. And I think that riding these particular waves, there's enough room in the margin to make it compelling. It's just that you have to be active in the market, and like, this is an hour-to-hour kind of thing. Like, this is a time zone-to-time zone sort of market, and that can be a hard market to ride if you're not prepared for it. But yeah, if you said that your target was like 700 ISK per skill point, which is not a bad target to be at, like, now is a great time to be buying in. because I expect the actual prices to go up once the sale ends. Like, in the next week or so, this isn't a bad place to park some side cash. I just don't think that it's a great place to be lumping all of your eggs in a basket, because it's a great way to lose your entire hat in the next, 4 to 6 weeks. It will be a lot easier to judge and meter once we get closer to this parity line, because you'll be able to say, oh well, I expect Plex to go up, and because Plex went up, I expect skill injectors to go up, or talk about the crossplay in between them. But when we're this far above the mark, there's nowhere to go. Firebrim is asking if cerebral accelerators are still worth it, or if they're replaced by skill injectors. I still think they're worth it. The primo 1 week ones, I don't think have ever been worth it and never will be. But the 15 and 30 day ones, I still think are worth it to get through your first couple million skill points. The target market for skill injectors is going to be the 5 million to 50 million group. And in that group, it makes a lot of sense to use injectors instead of +5s to keep up. But I don't know if it makes much more sense than that. I still think the accelerators are the best value per buck in your first million skill points. And I don't know if I'm going to be at Comic-Con Denver Comic-Con this year, since I'm moving the wrong direction. I might be at a day of Emerald City, but I doubt you guys will be able to pick me out. Kind of wish cerebral accelerators were not such a well-kept secret. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a pass for Emerald City. I might do a Thursday or a Friday, but Saturday and Sunday are all sold out, and I'm not doing Saturday and Sunday. I do one day of those cons. I'm a slack ass. I don't love the crowds. I love all the random shit, though. Oh man, I can buy me some prints and all that other great stuff, and take lots of pictures of awesome cosplays. And once I'm in Seattle, I'd love to do a meetup. Like, I would really, really love to do an Eve meet in Seattle. But seeing as I'm moving there and I've never really been to the city, I don't know where to host the damn thing. So, if you have 2 cents on that, send me information about that. I'd love to know more. It's a big burg, and I know literally nothing about the place. We're gonna have to give me a few minutes off mic. Gotta go take care of one quick thing. Feel free to keep asking questions. We'll see if we can get 1 or 2 more done before we end the stream in about 15 minutes. I will be right back. All right, we are back. Joining the Tweet Fleet Slack. Good question. Let me get you the link. So you go here and you log in with the SSO and it should let you in. And if you are continuing to have problems, PM me an email and I will get an admin to fix it. Here I am. There we go. Back in the correct position and everything. Any other questions? No permissions. I don't know. It might take up to an hour for that to go through. Somebody actually has to press a button because they didn't want to get banned by Slack HQ. Woot. Excellent. Join the Prosper channel. It's the best channel. That and DevFleet. Holy cow. Looks like we're going to tie up the stream here in just a minute. I might be bad and in like 15 more minutes jump on HLib Industry and play Rocket Cars because I'm addicted. I have a problem. And my problem is I'm not very good at Rocket Cars. Oh yeah, and this is just stock art. Green screen and stock art. Best, I bought like $5 worth of stock art and it was like the best thing ever. Now I just wish that that my coverage was better. I don't know if this one shows. Like I don't have great coverage behind me and my shit is a mess. So, getting to the new place, I should have a slightly better setup. I'm hoping to go make an actual curtain and get some better lighting. The other nice thing is some cheapo true white bulbs did a wonder for making me look more professional here. Even if it makes this whole room look like a laboratory. Ta-da! So, yeah, I'm hoping to get a better field of view so I can not be chopped off here and actually have hands. Because, like, yeah. I don't know if I'm willing to go to Space Pope levels. Also, I got to see about getting this armature extended or mounted differently, because I need it to come out like another 6 inches, or be really freaking obnoxious and like mounted from the ceiling. At work, I was wearing my 07 shirt on show days, but now I don't have a job, or, well, in between jobs. Oh, woe is me. I'm unemployed, and I have a job offer, and they're having me move to the place. My life is so hard. Yeah, I don't watch the production margins very closely. Once I can rewrite the stat script, I intend to, just to be able to say when things become more profitable and when they stop becoming profitable. I need to write stuff for that. As soon as I'm done with the move, that's my number one thing. Especially since writing that will be a good exercise for what I will probably be writing at work for my first project or second project. It's a good exercise to be doing as far as software architecture goes. Well, I have a G-doc for it. It's just slow because there's a lot of calcs that need to be done. And it's not that complicated. It's just that spreadsheets are a terrible tool for it, you know? The new job is internet security, network security. The team uses big data to... so usually the traditional way of solving threats is to go forward from I know what a threat looks like, and I will find that pattern. And this company is a bit backwards in that we know what normal looks like, and we're going to be far more fluid about what is actually a threat. And it means that they are able to better detect fresh threats that come in. And I'm going to be working on the sensor team to build out some better quality metrics so that they know that as they're releasing the product, they're actually getting better with every release rather than just not breaking anything. Because there's a lot of daylight between technically not breaking anything and actually doing a better job. I still don't know if that's actually what I'm going to be doing. I do expect the first 2 or 3 months to be a hardcore learning experience, because I am going way out of my comfort zone here. We're going from I think I will be the only electrical engineer on the team, and it's not an electrical engineering job. It's a full code job, so I'm going to try and not be completely inadequate. It's terrifying. I mean, it's an amazing opportunity. I'm not technically making a lot more money after you meter out cost of living. I'm making about the same, but they're not public yet, and this means that I have some really amazing opportunities to get a lot of professional. It should be good for my career, if I may be so blunt. So I'm looking forward to it. They seem to think I'm smart enough. I'm having a hard time believing that I'm smart enough. I kind of feel like this is the longest con of my life. I was expecting them to say no the whole time because it feels like a moonshot, and my moonshots have always missed. That whole imposter syndrome. But it should be interesting, and we're going to get out of Boise, which is a huge help. Like, even if this all crashes and burns, at least I'll be in a city that has a tech sector. So that's at least a benefit. That's been the number one fear here in Boise, is that if I burn my bridges or the economy tanks, there's only one gig in town, and that is such a bad spot to be in. Like, that is a don't fly what you're not willing to lose kind of thing. So at the absolute barest of minimums, get to be in a bigger city, and I don't have to live in Hicksville anymore. Boise's nice enough, and if you're a small town kind of dude, and if you're conservative and outdoorsy, Boise's like a dream. Like, that they pay as much as they do, and you can get cheap property. Like, there's a whole bunch of great things about Boise. There's no traffic at all, but I am none of the things that you sell Boise on. I am not ultra conservative. I am not Mormon. I don't love small town living. Boise is technically the smallest town I'd want to live in. And it has a decent beer scene, and it's fine. It's fine, but it's not where I want to buy a house. It's not where I want to set down roots. And yeah, I'm moving to Seattle soon. A couple of weeks, sometime in the next 2 weeks. Have an apartment lined up. Need to give them money. Job starts on the 14th. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be interesting. Would love to do a Seattle meet. Except I don't know anything about the town, so I don't know how to set it up yet. I don't know where like a good bar is or anything like that. I've literally just driven along Bellevue to Bothell. That's literally all of Seattle I've seen. Trying to find the place to live at Kirkland. We spent Tuesday driving all over Creation, trying to find a place to live. We found one. We love it. It's great. Little short on the square footage, but the price can't be fucking beat, which I'm sure means that there's some poop hiding somewhere. But maybe, hopefully, we can take the extra $400 a month that are left in the budget and put that in the house nest egg. Maybe even a little bit more. So I let this rant go on way too long. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Thanks everybody who tuned in live. Again, if you want to keep discussing, come over to the Tweet Fleet Slack. I'm probably going to be heading to bed soon here, so I can get up tomorrow and continue throwing out all of my shit. I really need to figure out how to like sell it on eBay, because I'm sure that I could be making an extra $100 or $200 off of all my shit. Yeah. We'll be back next week. Probably not the following 2 weeks, but we're going to miss 2 weeks in March. I don't know which ones yet. But keep tuned on Twitter. Keep tuned on Slack. Thanks again for tuning in. Concluding these streams is the hardest thing in the freaking world.